Hello there. I wanted to talk about potential examples of what an involuntary celibate person sent to Coventry can expect from the real world as they enter it, if they're fortunate enough to do so. The real world can intervene in any involuntary celibate sent to Coventry's bubble at any time, and what you read about the subject or watch, they seem to have a tendency of that being a negative thing. It's not always a negative thing. However, in a positive note, there can be negative aspects. And this is a potential. I'm not a clairvoyant. There's no way I could predict until I see it for myself exactly what possible scenarios there could be. The most probable one would be the outside world blaming the involuntary celibate for being an involuntary celibate. That's the most common one. And it could be for any variety of reasons, but the reason I'm going to state is that they believe that the person is not outgoing enough, their physical appearance has not been kept up, they're weird in whatever way, socially awkward. It's all the involuntary celibate's fault. Bullshit. If you got a crowd of assholes around you who say shitty things to the outside world about you, who make judgments about you to keep you in a place, put you in a place for their advantage, especially if they want you to make YouTube videos so they can gawk at you like a bunch of sniveling cowards, like for me example, yeah, there are many potential possibilities of what they're going to do. And that, to me, sounds like the most probable one. They'll start blaming me. They might say, well, why didn't you go to a strip club? Maybe because I don't like the clientele at a strip club. Maybe I don't like the women there. Maybe that's not the kind of chicks I want to hang out with or be around. Ever. Not the answer some people wanted to hear, but you're going to hear a lot of answers you don't want to hear from me. So they'll blame you. And, there are women out there who are able to, obviously find handsome, wealthy, appearingly friendly men to go with. And they do quite often. But they could still have interest in involuntary celibate like me. How many people are like me? 0. That's how many people. I'm the only guy like me. And know your own worth. I've got a lot of things going that they will never have. Sure, they drive a fast car. Sure, they're handsome. Sure, they got money. But guess what? They will never have anything close to what I've got. And I say that with full confidence, and it doesn't matter if some people want to laugh or some people want to make jokes or want to take cheap shots. Guess what? Go fucking ahead. Your opinion counts for nothing. They can belittle you by manipulating social circumstances to make you feel like a lesser, a weaker. And with my unique circumstances, it's not a fair fight. And guess what? It never really is for the person in this position. They have hindsight on a lot of things, and they've been able to observe such an individual, such as myself, without being seen themselves. So anything could be going on. And let's face facts. Women, it's not hard for them to pick up, partners to go with. It isn't. We live in a society where there are a lot of men who will grovel and bend over backwards for women. don't do that. It gains you nothing. You will get no respect. Even if the chick you're going for respects you for what you're doing, guess what? Other chicks will not, and will put her in a position where she has no choice but to belittle you. I know it's a fucked up situation, isn't it? Because of their own jealousy. And the belittling goes further than, mocking your physical appearance or your intellectual capability or any other number of things. A lot of it is actually got to do with the psychology of how you think and what you perceive as your answer and how they want to interpret it. And what I mean by that is, if you say, this is what I believe in, they will twist your words to what they want to hear. And they may be totally wrong, but that doesn't mean they won't go off with that thought and do whatever they want with it. Because they're assholes. That's what assholes do to people. And it's important to know that the friends of your friends are not your friends. Doesn't matter. It would be nice that if, you're going with chicks, that their friends are on the level. But remember, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. One, if the chick really likes you, guess what? She doesn't want competition around. So she'll either pick, the most unattractive women, as a way of compensation. For a guy like me, I'm in, in a position where I could say, hey, a lot of things happen that were not fair, and I want some compensation for this, but I don't want your riffraff. And you can't let the woman have more than 50% of say in anything. In fact, you shouldn't even let them have 50%. Definitely never 51%. The whole domineering factor, it makes for good porn, but it's not, for the long run, good. It's bad, actually, very bad, because then they start telling you how to think, what you like, what you don't like, and you don't want any of that. That's for pickle mush heads. And these scenarios of what could happen, it's spooky because I have really no idea. But there are potential possibilities of what could be going on. And them belittling someone like me and saying, it's your fault that you're in your situation, yada, 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 even though it's not. I simply contradicted. I contradicted mainstream society, which is not difficult to do, and they didn't like it. The thing is, the chicks that you do like could also introduce you to women that are attractive, and on the surface, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with them. However, that could be a ruse. In the sense that it's still a game of musical chairs and the decision making is done somewhere else. And the chicks that you do like may not be involved in that decision making. You don't know, because they're not going to tell you. That's going to be part of the strict rules that they're not going to tell you about anything. And there's no way they're going to change how they are, after things start warming up a bit. There is actually a culture of, how to put this delicately, I would call it guilt rape, where rejecting women from any guy's certain position, usually because they're hideous in some way or another, is frowned upon so badly that instantaneously the dude looks like the villain. And it's like, women reject men all the time, and that's perfectly fine. It's their right to do that. However, society has this crazy impression that that doesn't happen to men, that they don't get guilt tripped into going with women. And I know that sounds strange, but guess what? Because it has a hole and it's moist doesn't mean it's good. So sometimes it most certainly does, but a lot of the times it may not be. And, there are women who are physically attractive. But if you really start to break it down, with the kind of guys they've been with, the amount of guys they've been with, the friends that they have that aren't going to go away, even if you think they've gone away, it gets kind of gross after a while. And, it doesn't matter. She can have the physical appearance 10 out of 10. But if she's been with a bunch of guys you don't like, guess what? Even as an involuntary celibate who hasn't been with a woman ever, you can turn around and say, fuck off. I want a better fucking deal. And some people go, well, you gotta swallow your pride and, just go with it, man. And it's like, no, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not keen on that idea at all. I want a relatively innocent girl who is between the age of mid-20s to late 20s. That's about it. Without too much attachment, too much experience, too many things going on. I don't like any of that. As I've said before, that's like baggage. And it's, it's unappealing in a woman, especially if you can actually get a better deal than that somewhere else. And, the problem with, well, we'll call them the Wonder Woman super whores, who are strong, capable women in positions of society where they actually have power, which is not a bad thing necessarily, but that doesn't mean they're right for you. Doesn't mean that at all, because then they can start trying to put you in a position you don't want to be in. And I know a lot of people do not like my opinions on certain subjects, and that is never going to change. And, that is a far more serious subject than people understand. Even to my knowledge, it still goes way further than that. The rabbit hole goes way deeper than that. And it's not exactly something you really want to find out, because you don't want to associate with a crazy nutter woman like that. Yeah. It's... there are people who have power and authority out there, and it's not that they thought of any of this sort of stuff themselves. It's because they're like Lego pieces in society, and they happen to fit with whatever the mainstream society's Lego design was. They didn't know they were going to be in the positions of higher standing than they thought they were. It simply happened because they happened to be the right piece for the right part of the puzzle. And, that's, well, good for them. But, that, like I said, doesn't mean it's good for you. Especially if that whole Lego masterpiece is really an abomination. Yeah, I gotta say, there is going to be purges. I'm serious. There's enough chicks that like me. There has to be purges, because there's too many of them and they cause too many problems. And, if they ain't attractive, they got something wrong with them, and it could be part of their personality, their circle of friends, most especially their physical appearance. It could be any of those things, and if something isn't right about it, you get rid of them. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter if it looks bad. It doesn't matter if you're coming out of the gate and you're already putting up rejection notices, because they'll turn around and go, "Oh well, he doesn't even know what a woman is." Blah, 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 blah. No, I haven't been allowed to touch women ever in my life, but that doesn't mean I don't know what they are. And as soon as I get more used to physical interaction with women, then it won't be such an issue. But at this point in time, it most certainly is, because I'm high value. Fresh meat, some people could say. And I didn't exactly pick this part out for myself of who I wanted to be at this point in my life, but it is what it is. It's a very complicated subject. And it is, it's absolute rubbish that one could be blamed because one set of people don't like another set of people, but both sets of people like the same person, which should be me because of all my advantages and how useful I am. And somehow that's my fault, even though I probably don't even have any semblance of knowledge of what the two parties are. I mean, isn't that a little bit insane in itself? I certainly think it is. And, if you're as a high value man as I am, you have to take into consideration that you can't be a asshole. You can be a prick, but not an asshole. A prick will do irritating things, simply to get their way. An asshole will do irritating things and continue doing irritating things because they can. An asshole is way worse than a prick, and in fact, a prick can really, really irritate an asshole. And arguably, that's what they deserve. And, it's not always the same situation, so, you gotta play by ear. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people who like to believe they can tell you what to do. They know how to talk to you. They know everything about you, blah, blah, blah. Or they know enough about you that they think that you're stupid and that they can just simply walk all over you. You can't let them do that. Because if you let them do that, then you're going to end up in a place you don't want to be. And it's like, like some people are going to go, whoa, this dude has such an ego. I try not to be, but, I observe. And I've seen things that, have perpetuated my thought process of having a large ego. Yeah, you gotta stand up for yourself, and you gotta, don't be pushed around. Don't be told what to do. And don't let people use their authority that they have, whatever authority that is, to manipulate you into conforming to what they want you to be, need you to be. And it's like, you're going to have to do better than that. Because if this is your game, it's weak. Yeah. Yeah, so many damn possibilities, so many, hypothetical situations. And, like I said, the chicks that you may respond well to and they like you, they may introduce women whom they would rather not, that they don't consider friends. And you have to be able to decipher that. And, you got to figure out what it is exactly that they want. And try and avoid everything being choreographed, or you're never going to be happy. if everything seems as though it's not really what's going on, it's this, that, and the other. And, you do have to be careful because, like I said, a lot of these times, people end up in a situation they don't want to be in. And it's relatively easy for someone on the outside to simply go, this person's off on a tangent, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's lost. And therefore, we can make decisions because we're more knowledgeable than he is. No, you're more of an asshole than I am. There's a difference. And I don't want people making decisions for me. People have made decisions for me for most of my life. And they've done a rather bad job of doing it. So I don't want people making decisions for me. I mean, there's stuff that you don't need to know about, don't want to know about, and you have to make that perfectly clear to them no matter how badly they want to teach you this damn lesson. Like, if women like a guy, you'd be surprised how fucked up things can get, when other women like that same guy. I mean, if you think when men get jealous about a woman that, that's bad, it's a whole other animal when it's women who are jealous about a guy, and usually the guy is not looked upon well, and usually that's for good reason. However, in my situation, I didn't choose that. That was chosen for me. Somebody else made those decisions for me. And as I said, they did a bad job. This isn't the scenario I wanted to be in. Yeah, it's creepy. And what's messed up about the whole thing is women will use their jealousy, their grief, their misery over, a guy they might be fawning over. And if they're an involuntary or celibate, sent to Coventry and have no idea of their existence, you don't even have to know their existence. It's like, it's the most fucked up thing I've ever heard. But anyway, they'll try and teach you a lesson by, on a smaller scale, try to make you jealous of, like, you've got to compete with another male to score a chick, when the chick really only wants to go with you, but they want you to learn some lesson and help, make them feel better about themselves. And it's like, no, we're not doing that either. I've put up with too much bullshit. There is no way I'm competing with another male to score a chick. It is not happening. If said chick does that, I will simply walk away. I will go, this isn't my place. I'm not here. I'm going. There's some chick somewhere else that's the equivalent of you. And I don't have to put up with this. And I'm not going to. And if that doesn't make you feel good about yourself, then, well, that's too bad. Because these people, all they want to do is tell me that I'm what's wrong. I deserve to be where I am. I should be miserable. I should be depressed. I should write a bunch of, goth poems or something like that. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's something a douchebag would do. And I'm not that kind of douchebag. It's a funny world we live in, isn't it? I do not like phony, sycophantic people either, where, they're smiling to your face, they'll, seemingly do anything, and that's a bad thing, because, when you don't see them, that means that they're probably very mean-spirited people. And, these sort of social scenarios can bring out the worst in people. However, I didn't have a specific point that I wanted to make in this video. I simply wanted to relay some thoughts I was having. Possibilities of which, I can't answer, based on my position right now with limited information I have. It's called limited intelligence. I made a video about it before, and it's not my fault that I don't know. It's impossible for me to know. So I can only hypothesize from this point on until I see more evidence. So anyway, there are some women out there that are, very nice. Nothing wrong with them at all. Hopefully haven't been too corrupted by evil. Hopefully. And then there are other ones who most certainly have been corrupted by evil and may have some disadvantages in their personality, looks, social circle, and other things. I'm not really particular about financial. Obviously, I don't want them to be swamped in debt or anything like that. But like, if it means like, ooh, I get to ride around in a Jaguar, or go to a house that has a pool and all that sort of stuff, I don't need it. Because I'm gonna make my own money in this world. So I don't have to leech off of other people. Yeah, anyway, I think I'm going to leave this as it is. Anyway, talk to you people later. Have a good one.